Good morning, everyone. Um, the um, the reason that I decided this morning that I wanted to talk about um, Ozempic face is because, of course, there's so much in the news now. Uh, but what brought it to uh, really to my attention this week is I get all sorts of stuff in the mail. I don't know whether you all do or not, but it's this particular week, I got two things from a company wanting me to invest. I don't know why, because I don't invest in anything usually except in people. But they wanted, it was information on investing with a new company. And it was a category creating company. And so I was reading it because it caught my eye, and I realized what they were talking about was a company that is creating, I suppose it's going to be a drug that actually rebuilds the structural framework in the face, and I'm assuming throughout the body, uh, to get the body to rebuild some fat pads. And you're like, now, whatever does that mean? Well, if you've watched the people who have been taking Ozempic, or any of the synthetic shots. And maybe I shouldn't say all of them because I certainly don't know, but so many of them have lost so much in their face. Well, what have they actually lost? They've lost their fat pads. Now, none of these injections are selective. Uh, Hopefully, they are going to go for the visceral fat around the waist and around the internal organs, but they're not selective, and so there's nothing that enables them to say to the brain, okay, now brain, we're going to lose weight everywhere except we're going to keep our fat pads in our face. Okay, let's just don't touch those fat pads. Let's work on the fat in the hips and on the stomach and back in, but don't touch the face. Even though as we lose weight, it's important for the face to adjust, but the rapid weight loss has caused people to lose these fat pads. And whether or not they're going to be able to rebuild them, I don't really know. But what I do know is that for those of us in LifeVantage, we have a product that's unlike anybody else's product. Actually, we have more than one. All of our products are that way. But we're especially in a place right now that if we can communicate better, we're going to be able to help our friends who've taken Ozempic. And you have a whole market of people out there who are looking for something. And yes, our collagen and our NRF2, they're expensive. There's just no way around it, at least expensive for my pocketbook. But they're going to get these medicines. Just like when Ozempic, before it became more affordable, people were paying all sorts of enormous amounts of money to get them. And you know what else? They were overlooking the side effects. That tells you how desperate people are to lose weight, and how their appearance drives them so often more than their health, which is unfortunate, but it does. So I thought when I read it, I thought, well, for goodness sakes, we already have such a thing. And here we have a company that's been sending out to uh, even an old lady in Kansas City who doesn't do investing all sorts of information saying this company is coming out with this new thing that's going to rebuild the scaffolding in the face, basically. So I thought, maybe we should talk about what we have already. Now, um, those of you who took our GLP-1, you did not experience Ozempic face. And you're like, well, no, because I didn't lose any weight. I can only speak for my husband. He is the person that I know that's been on it the most consistently. He continues to, right now he's at a plateau, but August was 2 years ago when he started taking it, and he's lost 62 pounds. Uh, and it's been very, very slow. It was usually a pound or two a week. At the end of the month, we might see that, 3 pounds. He was very discouraged for a long time because he was not losing fast enough. He wanted to take these pills and wake up the next morning at 189 pounds. And so I kept saying, Glenn, you're not making GLP-1. As long as I've known you, you've not been making GLP-1. Now, for those of you who need a little science reminder, the thyroid gland makes thyroid, right? The ovaries make estrogen and so forth. We have glands. The adrenal gland makes adrenaline. We have glands that make hormones. Uh, but the gut makes a whole lot of things. It makes your neurotransmitters, but it also makes your hunger and satiation hormones, your GLP-1. When it makes GLP-1, it basically is turning on the mechanism that your body, not turning it on, but it is building on the mechanism your body has to let you know when to eat and when to stop eating. This is dysfunctional in almost every American right now. Uh, it does seem to be tending to be genetic, but it has to have triggers. And I think those triggers are going to be eating too much as a child, as well as irregular times, too much food available all the time. So the body loses the ability to know when it's hungry and when is it full. There are all sorts of other peptides that are out there now, and people are going insane taking them. I don't mean literally insane, but we all want a simple and easy solution, don't we? I know I do. Right now, I often say, why don't we develop a pill for technology? So I could just take a pill and be able to do all the tech easy. But that still hasn't happened. And I don't want to get a chip. That's probably what some of you are thinking. So, as I was doing my research, I found exactly what I was expecting to find. And so let me share. Let's hope I can share my screen this morning. And we're going to look at um, what some of the things I found and how it can affect our helping people. Because, guys, that's what we do. We help people, but in the meantime, we need to make enough money to order our own products as well as to just improve our finances. So, what I wanted to talk to you about first is this little subject right here. Carol, can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
All right. This is a little bit technical, but it does a really good job of explaining uh, to us that how that the body is not only made of cells, but that these cells are woven together by a living scaffolding called the extracellular matrix, a fabric of protein fibers and watery gels that provide structural support and gives the human body its recognizable form. So, uh, as I was studying this little article, I thought this sort of puts this into the conversation where we can probably understand it better. Within every corner of this matrix lives a remarkable cell, mechanico-sensitive, shape-shifting, and endlessly industrious. Every time we reach overhead for a book, carry groceries, lean across a massage table, this cell reads the tension in our tissues and responds by weaving, unraveling, and reweaving the fabric that holds us together. Yes, the web has a weaver, meet the fibroblasts. Now, those of you who go to the gym and work out, you're trying to change some shapes in your body. You're trying to build some stronger muscles. Um, so this, we're not going to watch this little video here, but he begins to talk about the types of fibers that we have in our body. The one we're going to be talking about this morning is uh, collagen, and this is collagen type 1. Now, this other one, which we'll see a little picture of the mesh, it is collagen type 3. Now, for those of you who know our collagen, you know that we're the only guys out there that I have found yet that can legitimately say that they activate 10 of the 28 different types of collagens we have in our body. Most of the collagens out there can only activate 1, 2, or 3, perhaps 1, 2, 3, 5. It can't activate 10. So this is what happens. Billions of these fibroblasts exist throughout the body. And this is a picture of them, sort of a picture. And what it is indicating here, like textile fabrics, the fabric of the human body is made of fibers. But instead of cotton or wool, the body's fabric is woven from the protein fibers of collagen and elastin. So this is sort of what it looks like in this image here. Collagen dominates the anatomical landscape, accounting for 30% of all the proteins in the body, acting as the glue that holds together these 30 trillion cells. The collagen matrix spans from the skin at the body's surface through our fat, our fascia, uh, surrounding every muscle fiber, continuing deep to the bone. It envelops every cell and it forms the scaffolding of every organ. Now, what does that mean? That means that the heart has a shape, the liver has a shape, kidneys have a shape, and the collagen matrix works in the framework of that shape. It's everywhere. So these fibroblasts that the collagen form weave the collagen is woven by the fibroblasts to create the framework of the entire human form. Um, so what happens, and this is another little picture here that shows you the fibroblast in the matrix. So we've got a web, we've got a scaffolding, as it's called. Now, what happens when, let's see, look at this one. Um, what happens when that begins to give way? Uh, when that scaffolding is it, and we make less and less collagen every year, like we do all the other things, but what happens is when that framework, that scaffolding, this mesh-like matrix under our skin gives way, we develop the proverbial sagging that comes with aging. A young lady told me in the grocery store one day, she was asking me, this was a number of years ago, my age, and I told her, and I think I was 65 at the time, and I said, why? And she said, well, it's Senior Citizen Day, and I wasn't sure to give it to you. And I went, oh, thank you, darling. I appreciate the compliment. I thought she was just putting me on, and she said, no, no, you don't have the lines here we're supposed to look for. I do now. But back then they weren't as pronounced. But this is all caused from this matrix giving way. So what happens then with Ozempic face? It just goes kaplooey. And all of the fat that had built itself up around this matrix disappears, or it is greatly reduced. And so you get that gaunt, sick looking Ozempic face. You can tell people when you see them and that you're like, oh, wow, you've lost a lot of weight. And a lot of times they'll say, yeah, I've been taking Ozempic. And when I'm looking at them, I'm noticing their face because yes, they've lost a lot of weight, their body looks better, but what happened to their face? Well, I want to tell you this morning, we've got the answer to what's happened to their face, and we're about the only people I know out there, other than they're going to come up with a drug right now that'll probably make $1 billion. We've already got the answer if we can just get ourselves out of our comfort zones and learn to share it. So, looking up, does collagen build structure for fat? I already knew the answer, but yes, collagen provides the structural framework within the fat tissue. Fat is just not loose cells, even though it looks like it to us. It features a matrix made of specific structural proteins, including collagen 1, 3, and 4. So sometimes when you're looking on these collagen products in the grocery store, it will tell you that it's going to help with skins, joints, whatever. Well, it may can help with some skin, but not necessarily building where you need it, where you want the fat, where we need the fat. If you've got the Ozempic face, the right kind of collagen, because 1, 3, and 4 organizes fat storage. It supports cell expansion and it regulates, and this is so important with Ozempic face, tissue remodeling. So there's a little bit more here that you want to look at. Um, let's see. Uh, this one I thought was very interesting in that collagen acts as the fibrous network of protein inside the middle layer of your skin. It forms a tight woven grid that gives your face its shape, firmness, and structural strength. So when all of this droopiness, not just from age, but especially from Ozempic face happens, it's because you've lost your fat and you've lost your collagen matrix there. You're just becoming more and more, um, I don't want to say blobby looking, but you're moving into losing the definitive structure of your face. A little bit more for the science geeks out here. Um, the science, the sagging in lines without the firm framework beneath, the skin loses its lift, leading to wrinkles and soft spots. In other words, the old lady looking. Now, one of the topics I had up here, I seem to have lost. So I'm gonna put it back in right now because I thought have to tell them. You're probably not surprised. You probably already knew the answer to this. Yes, free radicals decrease collagen production and actively break down existing collagen fibers. So, Ozempic face, you're losing your fat pads. You're losing your collagen matrix. You're building, I wish someone would do a study on how these synthetic GLP-1s and so forth, how do they increase the free radicals in your body? But for people who don't have a means of lowering their free radicals, uh, they have the enormous amounts of free radicals every day. I think if I remember correctly, it is what, 300 sextillion, which is uh, more than our national debt, every day in their body because they're not making enough of the antioxidant enzymes that decrease with age, as well as with the assault of the environments. They're not making enough of the antioxidants to lower these free radicals. So you're adding a synthetic hormone to the body. The body has to deal with that. And so you've got a situation here where you've got the person moving increasingly into poor health. And for those who've been taking it to help their diabetes too, so many times they have to get up to a very, very high dose to even see those numbers shift a little bit, uh, because the mistaken idea behind diabetes too is it's simply diet and lack of exercise. So, free radicals decrease collagen production. When free radicals build up faster than your body can clear them, why would they do that? You're not making enough antioxidant enzymes. If you are, you've got a balance here. They cause a state called oxidative stress. You all could make 100 on this test. This stress harms the skin cells. Look at this word, the fibroblasts that make new collagen and trigger chemical signals that stop new collagen synthesis. So, that's just a little bit of science to show you that we have some answers no one else has. You already know that taking NRF2 one tablet a day in clinical studies shows a drop of an average of 40% of free radicals in 30 days. I can't find the literature, but I have been with LifeVantage since the very first year of them becoming a network marketing company. Um, Again and again, we saw the research on how that it reduces it 70% in 120 days. So at the get-go, people who are taking these synthetic hormones, especially the Ozempic, Wegovy, Mounjaro, all of these, need to take Protandim to drop their free radicals. That is going to be one of the best things they can do to hold on to whatever health they have. So adding our collagen, I'm not talking about collagen in general, but I'm talking about adding our collagen. Let's just look at a few of these results. The density increased by 42%. Do you think that would help this collagen matrix throughout the body, not just on this in the face? Skin roughness, depth of crow's feet, and this one is so important. The blood catalase increased by 202. And what does catalase do in the body? When your glutathione bonds with toxic chemicals, heavy metals, whatever, lactic acid, all sorts of cellular debris, it sort of brings it up. It sort of sweeps it up. Well, catalyst is the dustpan. It sweeps it in, and the catalyst says, I'll take it from here, and it dumps it out. It converts it to a liquid to get it out of your body. It takes the dustpan and throws it in the garbage. Now, what about another study of our collagen? These were clinical studies by an objective lab. This was the study results. The collagen density increased by 100%. We talked about a little bit of this. The collagen degrading enzymes, which of course will be increased by taking Ozempic or any of these synthetics, decreased by 57 to 79%. The SOD gene activation increased up to 27, X whatever. What does that mean? Well, when you take Protandim, your body, your cells are activated to increase your superoxide dismutase, SOD, by, in the initial studies, by an average of 40%. That's what it's saying there. Your SOD, when your molecule, you make a molecule of SOD, it can eliminate 1,000,000 free radicals. And it does this every second, 24 hours a day. But as you age, you decrease 10% every decade. And there's all sorts of other reasons that people don't make enough superoxide dismutase, mainly from the processed foods and the lack of nutrients in our food. To have this increased another 27% is amazing. The epidermal barrier structure genes, that's what we're talking about, this matrix increased up to, and I don't even know, some of you people who did really well in algebra will have to explain. I mean, I think it's just saying to the 27th power, the fifth power. Skin moisture, catalase, we've already talked about, but this last one is so important. The elastin gene activation increased by 18%. Now, what are we saying here? We're saying that this is phenomenal science. These are phenomenal results. I'm going to be very surprised if this new drug that's being produced, who knows how much it's going to cost, who knows about the side effects, can do what our combination of NRF2 and our catalase, our collagen can do. We've got the answer for Ozempic face. We've got the answer to help these dear people who have, uh, they're desperate before they tried it. And if you've never tried, as I had with my husband we've been married 62 years, and I've said he's been on at least 180 diets, people laugh. No, 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 no. It's not uncommon for us to try three different things a year for him. Whatever diet came out, I learned it, I researched it, I cooked all sorts of wacko stuff, and he would lose weight, but boom, it was back. And I couldn't understand it because my particular family makes enough GLP-1. We don't get very big. We may get a little bit thick around the middle with middle age, but we don't have the hunger. We don't have a lot of the things that go with not making enough GLP-1. So no one raised their hand and said, you know what, I want to not be able to make enough GLP-1 hormone. Nobody volunteered for that. But what our uneducated, but we know what we know, and the time in which we live has said, you're simply eating too much. Well, yes, that's true, but the drive to feel the least bit of satiation, the least bit of the leptin, which tells your body that you're full, was just not existing as it should have been. One day because it doesn't take very much to make me full, I said, man, I am so full. And my husband said to me, what does that feel like? I'm only full at Thanksgiving and like at Christmas. So I'm thinking, what does it take to make his body know he's had enough to eat? I know now what does it take? It takes GLP-1, but it takes the natural production of it. Do I think our GLP-1 product works? I do. I think that it takes a long time for some people. I think some of you know I lost 4 pounds the first week. I couldn't take it. But um, with the people who have stayed the course, and it's so expensive that people have gotten discouraged with staying the course, that little GLP-1 hormone begins to being able to be made naturally in their body. I'm watching a person as it's been happening. My husband is no longer hunger driven. He is no longer over, you know, wanting to eat too much at a meal. He's no longer thinking about food all the time. This was not to somewhat a lack of discipline, because he could have starved himself into whatever, but it is more the body's inability to produce what it needed. So for those of you who have friends who have been on Ozempic or who are on it now, and you're seeing this Ozempic face, or if you want to make some little cards or something and you put them out everywhere, call me to help improve or change, or call me about Ozempic face. People are going to respond because they don't have an answer. And I hate for a medical company to start making a ton of money with potentially a dangerous product. I don't know. and we're sitting here on the answer ourselves. So, Carol, let's go to questions and answers.